Hey everyone, James Moffitt here, coming to you live from Goose Creek, USA, January the 10th of 2026. And we have already gone through 10 days of 2026. So we have, 330 plus days before Christmas 2026, before we have the holidays again. Do you still have your Christmas tree up? If you do, don't feel bad. We have our Christmas tree up too. We upgraded our last fake tree that we've had for, I don't know, 10 years to a Lowe's special. I bought it from Lowe's online, and it's a 6 foot fake tree, frocked, and it has LED lights. And so it's pretty. When it's on at night, it's very pretty, and it's got a remote control. Well, it's not remote. You have to walk over to the tree and pick it up and put it in your hands. But it has many lighting variations. And now that I'm talking about it, I probably should show it to you. You know what a Christmas tree looks like. It's real pretty. And I like the Christmas tree lights, and it lights up the living room, and it's pretty. I'm like, hey, we'll leave it up as long as we want to. I still see people have Christmas lights in their yards. I'm driving around town. I've seen several. And where we live, in a trailer park, if you leave your Christmas lights on outside on your home or your property, they send you a notice. The maintenance man comes around and puts the notice on your front door and says, "Please take down your Christmas tree lights." So I guess it's against the property policies, the community rules, to have Christmas tree lights on your home, which I really kind of think is hogwash. If I'm paying the lot rent and I'm paying the mortgage and I'm living here, I think within reason I should be able to have Christmas tree lights on my house. If I'm paying for the electricity that is powering them up, then who really gives a flip? Is it really any of their business? Oh, now I could see if I wrapped my house in Christmas tree lights and it just looked trashy, or ridiculous or whatever. I mean, it's not like my house looks like Mardi Gras 364 days of the year, 365 days of the year. I don't want to rip off the year by saying 364 days. But anyhow, our home looks very modest. Excuse me. I'm getting tired. I need a nap. That's what happens to old people. You need a nap. So anyway, we live in a single wide mobile home, and we live on a very small lot. There's a driveway, enough room for 2 cars and a trash can. And it takes me all of 1 hour to mow and weed eat and blow the grass where it needs to go and make our little yard, our postage stamp yard, look nice. So I don't have any Christmas lights outside because I don't know, they're kind of costly, and I'm not real good on ladders anymore, and I'd have to hire somebody to come over and put the Christmas tree lights up. Then I'd have to hire somebody to come take them down. So I've just opted out on the Christmas tree lights on the outside. I don't They're pretty and I like them. I just want to go look at somebody else's lights. I have a friend of mine that lives in Surfside Beach, and they have probably the most intricate and beautiful Christmas holiday season lighting arrangement. And they have all sorts of Christmas, snowmen, snow women, I don't know, snowman. They call it the snowman, right? And they've got poles and they make a Christmas tree. And anyway, it's I think it's even synchronized to music when you watch it online. And it's beautiful. It's very nice. I love going to see it when they have it up for 2 or 3 weeks. I think they already tore it down. Yes, I'm tired. I'm old. I need a nap. So today, what did we do? We drove around and we did errands. Went to eat. Went to the cleaners, dry cleaners. Dropped off my shirts. Went to Ye Old Fashioned, which is a hamburger joint, ice cream joint here in Goose Creek. It's on St. James Avenue. If you're from Goose Creek, South Carolina, or you're in the Low Country, Ye Old Fashioned ice cream is very nice. It's a good place to go get a burger and go get a banana split, ice cream of some sort. Anyway, we were there and we split a cheeseburger, fries, a couple of drinks. It was $20. One cheeseburger, one good sized cheeseburger, cut in half, fries, a good portion of fries, and two small drinks. $20. That's 20000. It's ridiculous. It's expensive. Anyway, while we're sitting there eating, our former pastor's wife drives up in her van. And I was like, I know who that is. And sure enough, that's who it was. And she's like us. She's elderly. She's a senior citizen. And she's actually 6 or 7 years older than us. So she's more senior than we are. Anyway, she came into the store and ordered a hot dog, I think, with mayonnaise. A hot dog with mayonnaise. Yuck. But anyway, she likes it. And we went to Grace Fellowship Church, which is a non-denominational Church of God of Prophecy. It's not non-denominational. Church of God of Prophecy is actually a Pentecostal denomination. And while its roots are very Pentecostal, Pastor Tom is the pastor there, and you would think that you are in a Methodist or a Lutheran church when you listen to the services and listen to him preach. And he uses the liturgical calendar for his messages. What is the liturgical calendar? I don't know. I don't know the true definition of a liturgical calendar. I just know that that denomination and the pastors of that denomination use the liturgical calendar. You can Google it. But it basically tells them what they're going to speak on every single Sunday of the year. And they all follow that calendar. And so no matter what Church of God of Prophecy church that you go to, I think you're going to hear the same message. It's not going to be worded exactly the same, but the pastors are going to be talking about the same theme, whatever the theme is for that Sunday. And that's fine. We went to Grace Fellowship for, I want to say 10 years, 10 or 15 years, something like that. And we went to that church because we met Pastor Tom at Trident Medical Hospital in Somerville. And we met him because I thought I had a heart attack. I didn't, but I was in a hospital. I was in the emergency room, ran me through all the tests, kept me overnight for observation. And you know what it's like in the hospital. You're not going to get any sleep or rest in the hospital because they're going to have you hooked up to maybe an IV or on your finger, you'll have a little heart monitor and they measure your oxygen level and your pulse rate and your blood pressure. You'll have a blood pressure cuff on your arm and it'll blow up every 20 minutes. So if you're trying to sleep, you can forget it. And if that doesn't keep you awake, then the nurses or nurses' aides coming in every hour of the night checking on you, that will. So anyway, I had a one of the clergy, one of the pastoral care volunteers or staff member. I don't know if he was a volunteer or staff member or if it was he or she. I just remember they came in to talk to me. I don't know what I said to them. I guess I guess whatever I said didn't fit in the box that they were looking for. I think I don't know, I was just myself, and I basically spoke my mind about whatever it was. Maybe it was a bad experience at a church or what have you. Next thing I know, they leave and uh, Pastor Tom pops in for a visit. He was the director of pastoral care. I was like, oh, so they brought the big guns, and because the other person did not know how to handle me. Hold on, I apologize. First I yawned, now I had to blow my nose. But at least I muted the microphone. You didn't have to listen to that. So where was I at? Oh yeah, Pastor Tom shows up in my room, and we had a nice conversation about God and denominations and the Southern Baptist Convention and divorce and all sorts of things. Well, anyway, we were fairly new to Goose Creek at that point. I don't know how long we've been living here. We've been living here for 2 or 3 years. And he said that, well, while I'm the director of pastoral care here at Trident Hospital, I am not supposed to encourage you to attend my church. I'm just going to tell you what the church name is and let you know that you're welcome. If you decide to come visit, that's great. If you decide to go somewhere else, that's great too, because there's a lot of churches in this area. And he offered to get me a list of churches in the Somerville, Goose Creek area. I don't think I took him up on that invitation, but Katie and I we were looking for a church, a home church. We came from Bluffton, South Carolina. We had a home church there. That was too far away. So we needed something here local. So we lived in a double wide mobile home at the end of why can't I think of the name of the street that we lived on for so many years? Anyway, Jeff Foxworthy has a little saying that says, you know, you're a redneck if. One of those sayings is, you know, you're a redneck if directions to your house includes drop off the pavement, go past the state maintenance sign, and go down a gravel road. Well, that's perfect for us because that's where we lived. You had to go around a giant oak tree, Maple Ridge Drive. It just came to me. So that's what happens when you're older. You forget stuff. You got CRS disease. Can't remember squat. And I just cleaned that up. Anyway, we had to go around a giant oak tree on Maple Ridge Drive, drop off the pavement, and drive down the gravel road to the next to the last trailer on the left. And anyway, Every time it rained, it was washout gully. I mean, you could get out of the car, jump in, and swim to the house. It flooded all the time. So we were looking for a church home, and we had an option, Grace Fellowship Church. And so Katie and I were out driving around one day, and we drove over to 115 Catherine Drive, I think is the address. And it didn't have a gate at that time. We just drove into the parking lot, turned around, looked. I looked at it. I think I texted Pastor Tom and said, "Hey, we're here at the church, looking at it." And it was I don't know, it looked like a building from the 1950s or 60s, brown brick and wood doors and shingles. And I looked at Katie and I said, "This is the cheesiest church I've ever seen." Just like that. And I told Pastor Tom too. I said, "This is a cheesy church at the end of the road." And it was in a neighborhood, and you would have had no clue that there was a church at the end of the road unless you drove down there. It was just a middle income, lower income housing development. All the houses were, probably 50, 60 years old. And that's probably why the church looked so old. And so that was Grace Fellowship Church, and we decided to go there. And it was our church home for several years, almost a decade. I want to say 10 plus years. And we enjoyed going there. At the time, our children were younger, I guess middle aged, eighth grade kids. Jessica was with us, and, before she passed away from cancer. And the church was very, very loving towards her, and made her feel special, made her felt loved, and did everything they could to make her comfortable. And I remember how Pastor Tom during the service, he would come sit down on the podium or the platform that he stood on, and he would sit down and he would ask all the kids to come forward, and they would, and he had a little short devotional for the children. And I think he spoke it or read it. I don't know. I don't remember, but he had a nice little short devotional that was geared towards children that they could understand, and he'd pray for them. And then he'd send them back to their parents, and the music would continue to play, or whatever the order of the service was would continue. And I remember how Jessica would we would roll her in her wheelchair, or somebody else would roll her in her wheelchair down there to be with the kids, and she'd take part in that. Oh, she really enjoyed it. So anyway, a little trip down memory lane. So today, while we were having lunch at Ye Old Fashioned with Pastor Tom's wife, we went down memory lane and talked about the people that we knew that used to be there, maybe or not there. Some have passed away, and we talked about our experience there. They were our family, still are our family. I still consider all of those people our family. One of the guys actually delivers Domino's pizza to our house when we order it, and he's older than we are, and I get tickled because every time I pop out the door to get the pizza from him, he's like, "Oh, Brother James," as if he didn't know we lived there. And he's delivered to us 5 or 6 times over the last 5, 8 years, right? So that's what happens to you when you get older. You start losing your short-term memory and long-term memory. Like I had to remember what the name of the street we lived on, Maple Ridge Drive. How could I forget that? So you start forgetting people's names, addresses. Like I don't remember the street I was raised on in Quinlan, Texas. I know the area code for the phone number was 356, and I knew that there was a brick home that had a TV antenna tower that was by the edge of the garage. That's how I found it. It's still there. Probably still there today. Nobody's going to take the effort to dig that thing out of the ground. It just wouldn't be worth it, I don't think. But anyway, it was fun to meet up with Pastor Tom's wife and talk about our memories there. And all their kids are grown. All our kids are grown and gone. We're empty nesters now. Oh yeah. So anyway, the Publix pharmacy is across the street from Ye Old Fashioned is where we've been getting our food and prescriptions for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years. And Publix is fixing to gut that thing and completely renovate its location. And so everybody that uses the pharmacy has to go to the Carnes Crossroad location, which is, I don't know, northwest from downtown Goose Creek. I don't know. I don't know what the direction is. Anyway, you just take the St. James Avenue out to Carnes Crossroad, and there's a big pharmacy or a big Publix out there. And we decided we didn't want to do that. Pastor Tom's wife was telling us how there's a Walmart neighborhood center or neighborhood center, Walmart neighborhood, however they say that. So we went there after I dropped my shirts off at the cleaners. We went there, and I went and talked to one of the pharmacy techs while my sweet wife got on her little buggy and started to run people over. No, hopefully she didn't run anybody over, but she was zooming around on her electric cart getting what little groceries we needed today for this weekend. And so I was talking to them, giving them our information and everything, downloaded the Walmart app, blah, blah, blah. And I talked to the pharmacist that was there, and we got to talking about prescriptions. And then we went into talking about subscriptions. And we were talking about, she was saying if we joined up for the annual Walmart Plus program, which is 100 and some odd dollars, like 109, $110 for a year, you get 20 cents off on your gasoline per gallon, and you get free deliveries for your medicine, free deliveries for your food. Like instead of using Instacart, you just get on Walmart's app, and you can order your groceries and they'll deliver them. If you're a Walmart Plus member, they will deliver your groceries for nada, which means that we could cancel my wife, Katie, we could cancel her Instacart subscription. It's not a lot, but you know what? Pharmacist and I got to talking about subscriptions and prescriptions. And she was saying, oh, yeah, she mentioned Paramount Plus while we were talking about prescriptions. And I was like, I said, what? I'm not connecting the dots. What has Paramount Plus got to do with what we're talking about? She says, oh, you get it if you're a Walmart Plus subscriber, you get that for free. So that's how we launched off into the discussion of prescriptions. So we got our Xfinity bill, which is our cable VoIP, voice over IP phone, and high speed internet. And I have 1 gig down and like 45 or 50 up because I need to be able to upload videos and download videos and process videos and do all sorts of things with videos and audio, blah, blah, blah. So we got to talking about how we got Hulu, we got Netflix, we got Paramount Plus, we got the Angel Network. We have 5 or 6 streaming subscriptions that we pay for, and they all add up. They all add up. And then we just talked about, there's a difference between needs and wants. You need water, you need food, you need a roof over your head, you need a car, you need car insurance, you need homeowners insurance, you need a mortgage, you need to pay lot rent, you need all these things. All of our things that are in our budget, there's a lot of needs. And sometimes we get our needs and our wants confused. So the streaming services, as well as uh, Xfinity cable, and really, the VoIP phone, we don't need that because we both have cell phones. Every member of our family, well, 3 of us have cell phones. Katie has one, I have one, and my daughter has one, so we can keep in touch with her. But all those streaming services, while it's entertainment, it's filed under entertainment in the budget. Do we really need that? No. And I remember sometime in 2025, maybe at the end of 2024, 2025, I was like, I'm going to cut the cable because we can't afford it. Our cable bill is like $500 or pretty close to it. And I took the cable back to Xfinity, the Tanger outlet, and I said, I'm cutting the cable. And the lady looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, what? What do you mean you're cutting the cable? No, like you worked for a cable company and you've never heard of that? So I just told her, I said, we can't afford this. I said, I need to keep the VoIP phone. I need to keep the high speed internet, but all the rest of that crap, no, turn it off. So they did. And I didn't know this, but I had a Samsung TV at the time. And because I had high speed internet, I could plug an Ethernet cable straight from the home router or the Xfinity router straight into the Ethernet cable, the Ethernet jack on the back of the TV. And I had Samsung TV. I had like 1,100 channels of stuff. A lot of it wasn't local channels. Like I couldn't watch Channel 2 or Channel 5 here in the Charleston area, but it had all kinds of other stuff. So it's not like we were completely without cable TV. But so that's when we got Netflix and a Paramount Plus and a couple of other things so that we could watch some of the shows that we like to watch. So anyway, 6, 8 months later, I got an advertisement from Xfinity in the mail. They're like, we're offering a new streaming service, blah, blah, blah. We'd like to have you back as a customer. So I investigated it and I was like, oh, cool. We can afford that. And it wasn't that much. And so I went back down there and she just gave me another cable box. And so they just it's marketing. They just repackaged cable TV as streaming services. So you pay for your basic uh, cable box, $10 a month to rent it, and then you pay for the signal that's coming in. And with that, like we got the basic package, which gave us pretty much everything we wanted except for HBO, Showtime, all the premium movie channels, right? And I was like, well, this is cool. It's a lot cheaper. So yeah, back to the conversation with the pharmacist. That's right. So I'm talking to the pharmacist about the increased cost, how streaming services and other subscriptions that we pay for that we probably don't need. They always like to, they give you a special so that you'll sign up. Oh, only $2, $3, $4 a month. But then every year they go up incrementally. Like only $1, $2, or $3 a month. They start going up. And you started out paying $3 or $4 a month, and now you're paying $12 a month. All of that stuff eats into your budget. So I was telling her about Rocket Money. I don't know if you know about Rocket Money, but Rocket Money is an application that you can download onto your smartphone. You can also access it on your computer. But Rocket Money, you actually connect to your bank of choice, banking institution of choice, and it starts tracking all of your expenses. And it sends you notifications. And I think I pay like, I don't know, $6 a month for it, $5.95, something like that. But yeah, I know it's another subscription. However, this subscription will save you money. So Rocket Money, download it, install it, configure it, and you'll be surprised because you get notifications from them all the time. I get them. They like, oh, your Netflix subscription just went up $3. I'm like, what? And I get notifications from all of them: Hulu, Paramount Plus, Netflix. I'm missing some. I'm not even telling you all of them. Apple TV, Apple TV Plus, everything's going plus. For if you want premium content, you got to pay plus. Which, by the way, I did turn on subscriptions on my parenting adult children podcast, and I marked about 5 or 6 of those episodes as a premium content, which means that you got to pay to play if you want the extra content. If you want the premium content, you got to pay to listen to it or watch it. And I don't really feel bad about that because there's a lot of content there that is free for the parents to watch and listen to and consume. I'm only going to flip on premium content on, like, I have child psychologist. I have a child psychologist that comes in and we talk for an hour, and he puts out a lot of good information, and several therapists are on there, all of that. So yeah, I flipped the switch on. I don't want to make the entire podcast subscription only because I want parents that cannot afford another subscription to be able to listen to what they need to listen to so that they can get the support and hope that they need to know that they're going to live through the adult child years from the ages of 18 to 30. So anyway, yeah, I had a good conversation with the pharmacist, and we moved all our prescriptions over from Publix to them because Publix is shutting down on the 17th in Goose Creek. They're going to gut the whole store and rebuild it. It's going to be better. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be shinier. And it's probably going to be more expensive. They got a great store, great product, and great people. I love Publix on St. James Avenue. I've never been to a Publix where I got bad service. And sometimes you got to pay what you have to pay for what you get, right? If you go to Save a Lot, sure, they're going to have a bunch of no name, non branded stuff that's cheaper than Walmart or Publix or Food Line or whatever. And you can save a lot of money, but you're not going to get much customer service because those people are making minimum wage and they're just trying to survive like we are. And so, not saying that I've ever gotten bad treatment or bad service out of them. They're just not as willing or able to turn on that smile and give you the extra stuff that we like, right? Here in America. We like people to dote on us. We like people to notice us, call us by name, make us feel like we're loved and appreciated and wanted, which we are. Actually, it's our money that's in our wallet that they want. They want our debit card and our credit card so we can pay for their goods and services so they can keep their jobs and public can stay in business, all these businesses, right? It's all about money. All about money. So yeah, if you take anything from this video, from this baby boomer, Rocket Money. Get Rocket Money, install it on your smartphone, pay attention to your subscriptions. And I don't know if you do this or not, but I use a spreadsheet to budget my bills, and I use Quicken. I've been using Quicken for quite a long time. And I download all my transactions from my bank, all my credit card stuff, everything. I download all of that once a month or once every 2 months. And I categorize all the transactions and I pay attention to what the transactions are. And Katie and I talk about subscriptions that we're paying for. Do we really need those subscriptions? And a lot of times we don't need them. We just turn them off. Oh, let me tell you, do you want to have some fun? Try to turn off a subscription. Because 9 times out of 10, even if you get a hold of a customer support person on the phone, or you send them an email, sometimes you'll wind up playing email tag for 3 months while you're trying to get a hold of somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. And they're like, yeah, we've canceled your account. And, 3 months later, you're still getting charged the same amount of money every month. And so another first world, you have to fight with the customer service reps and get them to cancel stuff and give you refunds and all kinds of craziness. And some of the places they'll bend over backwards and almost hurt themselves to get you to stay. They don't want you to cancel your subscription. They want you to be a loyal customer. Oh, what's a good one? Oh, SiriusXM. I can't tell you how many times I've called them up and said, "Yeah, just cancel my account." Well, what do you mean, Mr. Moffitt? I said, I can't. I'm not paying $25-$30 a month for SiriusXM to listen to SiriusXM channels on my car. I got AM FM radio. I can listen to regular stuff right here in Goose Creek. I don't need SiriusXM. Oh, they don't like that. They're they get stupid about trying to keep you. So if you insist on canceling the account, what you'll do is get SiriusXM for like $3.95 a month for like a year. So every year, I pay my $3.95 plus tax, whatever, $4, maybe it's $5, I don't know. But I'll pay the promotional fee every month for 12 months. And sure enough, that 12 months they try to jack it up again. And I'll get an email notification or I get a text on my phone or something. They'll go, your promotional subscription is ending soon. It's going to go up to the normal rate. And I'm like, no, it's not. You hide and wait. Watch. It's not going to do it. And I'll just call them up 2 weeks before it's time for it to switch from promotional to regular. And I'm like, nope, can't do it. I'm too poor. I don't have enough money. I don't have money for this. It's not my budget. I can pay the promotional price, but I'm not paying $25-$30 a month. It may not be quite that much. It may be like $19.95, whatever. And they have different tiers of service that you can get. Like if you want a bunch of sports stuff, they have that. If you want talk radio, you want national news, they have all kinds of genres that you can get the basic plan and then add, different, like it's all like streaming subscriptions. It's all, everything's going to streaming. I don't know if you knew this, but at some point we're not even going to have regular TV. We're not going to have cable TV anymore. Xfinity is not going to be. They will not be providing programming, but they'll provide the signal to come to your house. That coax cable that comes to your house, so you can plug it into your home router. But all they're going to do is provide streaming services. You're not going to have, Channel 2, Channel 5. You're not going to, I don't think, I have heard through the grapevine that regular TV is going away and everything's going to streaming services. Give it about 5 or 10 years. I think that's what's going to happen. Mark my words. Write this down on your calendar. James Moffitt said. James Moffitt may not know what he's talking about. There's a good chance of that. However, that's what I've heard, and I can kind of see it going that way. There's more streaming services you can shake a stick at, and I can shake a stick pretty fast, but I don't think who can afford all those streaming services. I know I can't. Who can? Rich people. That's who can afford it. Sorry, my nose itches. What else can we talk about? Oh, budgeting. Talked about budgeting. Talked to you about Walmart Plus, Publix, meeting our pastor's wife to eat lunch with her. That was pretty cool. There was something funny I was going to tell you. What was that? Some people would say I probably shouldn't talk about this, but I'm 64. My wife's 66. My pastor's wife is in her 70s. One of the things that happens physically, like the older you get, I'm just here. I know some of you are probably 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. You don't have many problems. Probably. You're probably in pretty good health. Unlike me, who's diabetic, got high blood pressure, got other underlying issues that I'm fighting with because of diabetes. So most of you are probably not dealing with a whole lot. One day, unless you're really lucky, you're going to wind up taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pills a day. I think I'd eat 4 pills in the morning and another 3 pills at night. So I'm taking 7 pills a day to increase the quality of life and to live longer. At least that's the lie they're shoveling to me. And the medication has seemed to help my blood pressure issues and I take insulin, which helps my blood sugar to stay at a manageable level so I don't have stage 4 kidney cancer. Stage 4, you have to have dialysis, by the way. And so if you're diabetic, pay attention to that because you'll wind up losing fingers, feet, limbs. It'll kill you for sure. So anyway, I've kind of got that under control. So here's what I'm going to talk to you about. And for some reason, when you're older, and this happens to men and women alike. So because I'm diabetic and because I take insulin, I think it works. I think the way it works, what the doctors have explained to me, insulin in, urine out. So basically, the insulin goes in and it reduces the amount of sugar in your blood, and the only way you can get rid of it is through your urine. Okay, that's your health analysis or your educational health tip from James Moffitt. If you take insulin, that's why you got to go pee all the time, because the insulin's converting that sugar into God knows what, and it pushes out through your kidneys, and off to the bathroom you go. And I've gotten to the point where I have to drive from bathroom to bathroom. You know, if I'm going from point A, if I'm leaving home, I know that wherever I'm headed better have a bathroom, because I'm going to have to waddle high speed into that so I can go pee. Well, remember when you were younger? Maybe you are younger, and if you are, God bless your little soul. But when you're younger, remember how you could just wait for an hour or two? You knew you had to go pee, but you just were doing your daily stuff. You were working construction, or you're at the gym, or you were nowhere near a bathroom or a porta potty. Now, porta potties are like gold to me. So I have to make sure that wherever I'm going, it better have a restroom or a porta potty at very least, so I can go relieve myself. Well, if I don't relieve myself in a timely fashion, I turn into what's called a human sprinkler head. You get the picture? It's ugly, right? And you ever heard the statement, if you sprinkle when you tinkle, be a sweetie and wipe the seedy? You never heard of that? Well, it's one of those old people statements, I guess. Or if you've never been in somebody's house, they might have that up on the wall to encourage you to, if you're a man, to lift the seat. Don't be sprinkling all over the seat for some poor woman to come in, or child sit down and get wet. Ooh, nobody wants to do that. Well, if I don't get to the restroom in time, the seems that my ability to keep the spigot fully closed is eroding very quickly, and there's some sprinkling going on, and I don't like it. And I'm probably right around the corner from Depends, and I really don't want to do that. But I'll bring this full circle and tell you that I went out to Bettis boat landing recently, and I went to take some pictures. And as a matter of fact, I took all my camera equipment, my tripod, blah blah blah. I was gonna. They got a dock. They got a boat dock, and they also have a pier that you can set up on. And I got there, and I was going to set up my tripod, my camera, and I was going to do a video of me. And over my shoulder, you're going to see the water. You're going to see the brown pelicans and all that stuff. And it was going to be perfect. It was going to be neat. And I'm going to do that. Eventually, I'm going to get there without a bunch of people. Well, then all the looky-loos and fishermen and fathers with their child and everybody just showed up and ruined it. I couldn't do that. So when I got there to do that, drug all my equipment out there to the ramp. No, not the boat ramp. What did I just call it? The walkway, whatever it's called. Anyway, got everything set up, and guess what? I had to go to the restroom quick. So I drug all my stuff to the car, waddled all the way out to the car, got in the car, threw the tripod in the back of the car, didn't even bother collapsing the legs. And I had seen a porta potty like within about a quarter mile from where I was at. And I drove like a madman to the porta potty. I parked in the parking lot, jumped out, waddled all the way through the woods. There's a little section of woods, and I had to step over some high grass, and they had a telephone pole there. So I was sitting there, and I'm like, I got to get over this telephone pole without killing myself. So I made it to the porta potty and took care of business. And I was still a little bit wet and embarrassed and irritated, all of the above. So hopefully somebody got something out of that. Hopefully it made you laugh. Hopefully you're laughing. I hope you didn't spew any drink out of if you're drinking Coke or soda pop or beer or whatever, and you listened to this and it made you, spit some liquid out. Or maybe you laughed so hard you peed too, peed a little bit. That happens. It's part of life, right? We don't stay young forever. So for those of you that are watching this video, just understand that when you're in your early 60s, middle 60s, 70s, 80s, it all depends. What do you mean it all depends? It all depends on whether you need to wear to Depends, or you can get to a restroom in enough time to stay dry. So when you're in your late years, when you're a senior, I guess when you become a senior, when you're 55, that's right. Some places consider 50 being a senior citizen. And if you're 64 like me, well, that's just insulting. What do you mean? I'm 65. Okay, I'm in my 60s. You call me a senior citizen. I have people open the door for me at gas stations all the time. They'll look back and see me waddling towards the door. Maybe I need to go to the restroom. Who knows? Good chance. And they'll stop and they'll open the door. And I always thank them. Oh, thank you very much. You're welcome, sir. And they're probably thinking, I hope you make it to the bathroom before you turn into a human sprinkler head. So anyway, if you're in your 60s or 70s, you're considered a senior citizen. Uh, what I was going to say is that, when you're a child, that's your first childhood. When you are a senior citizen, that's your second childhood, which basically means you just don't give a shit about anything. You don't care what people think of you. You don't care about what people are saying. And if you're lucky, if you say something smart or stupid to an older person, they're liable to give you a piece of their mind and say, here, this is what I think about what you just said. It's stupid. Or maybe you should repackage that stupid thing you just said and stick it in your pocket and not say that ever again. I don't know. But yeah, becoming a senior citizen is not for the faint of heart because the check engine light comes on frequently. Everything will be fine when you go to bed. And in the morning when you wake up, well, I wake up multiple times in the morning, and guess what I do? Yeah, run to the bathroom. Waddle to the bathroom as fast as I can because I want to keep things dry as much as possible. I got a 14-year-old dog that she don't care. She's a senior citizen and she just pees everywhere. And we have some doggy diapers to put on her, but from what I understand, that can be messy, especially if they do number two. Gets all in their fur. Ugh, no. We just clean up after her. We put puppy pads down. We got puppy pads. We got more puppy pads in our house than we have. Wow, it's just ridiculous. Everywhere you look, there's a white puppy pad. And she's gotten to where she can actually use it, which I'm thankful for. And, but you still got to pick it up, put it in the toilet, flush, put it in the trash can, take the trash out. We do that every day, multiple times a day. She's the gift that keeps on giving. Willow Moffitt, 14-year-old Labrador Retriever. She's, poor thing's got cataract. She's half blind. She can't hardly walk. She has a hard time sitting down. She's probably got arthritis pretty bad. I got arthritis in my fingers and my hand. It's a lot of fun. It hurts to close my hand, hurts to move my fingers. My phalanges. That's what those are called, phalanges. I bet you didn't know that. Okay, look, 47 minutes. I've dribbled on, babbled enough about stupid stuff. If you're still sitting here listening to me, thank you very much. Subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me if you live in the low country of South Carolina because I left my previous video. I was talking about this fellow that's running for the South Carolina Comptroller General or something like that. And he's going to be at John Birch Society on the 15th of January at 6:30 p.m. at 105 Sumter Avenue at the American Legion. Be there, be square. All right. Everybody have a nice night. Watch football. I'm going to watch the Packers and the Bears around 7:30. I have no clue who's going to win. I'm also getting hungry. I need to go get some food. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.